This is Alofa with AstroWisdom.net, and I'd like to share a real case about finding missing money with astrology. I was visiting a friend and I was doing some astrology charts for members of the household, and one of them discovered that she couldn't find some money that she had had. She remembered having it a day or two earlier and she couldn't find it. So I decided to do a chart using the Advanced Stellar Astrology methods of K.S. Krishnamurti. This involves running a moment chart, which is a chart constructed at the time when the astrologer is seized with the question. That is, when they understand the question well and when they're ready to answer the question right now. And so one uses the time and location of the astrologer at that moment. One also needs to use the sidereal zodiac because the analysis methods don't make any sense otherwise. So here's the chart that I constructed at that moment. And looking at the chart, I was able to tell her that it's someplace unexpected and probably hidden among some papers. Now, how was I able to tell her that so quickly? Well, the moment chart, if you look at the ascendant, that's what answers the question. And the ascendant was in Gemini, which is ruled by Mercury. And it was also in the small constellation of the Tyr, which is ruled by the dragon head. So Mercury rules communications, papers, mail, all those kinds of things. And the dragon head rules things that are hidden and unseen. It also rules things that are unexpected. So I was pretty sure it would be found hidden among some papers. Now, the dragon head also rules thieves and foreigners. Well, I happened to be the only foreigner in the house, and I didn't know anything about the money, so I knew it wasn't a foreigner. And although this family did have some servants, there wasn't anyone that had been in the house that could have stolen the money since it had gone missing. Just to note, we can check that this chart does indeed reflect the question. If we look at the moon governs the mind of the question, and the moon is here in the second house. This is the house of money and property. So we're talking about money that is missing. Okay, so it is indeed a correct chart that's going to answer the question. There is a favorable indication here in that Mercury is right here, and it is in a harmonious aspect. It's in a trine to the ascendant. So I was pretty confident that she would find her money. So let's proceed to the analysis. What we need to do is find the ruling planets of the chart. So the first thing we want to do is look at the ascendant and the moon and find the ruling planets of each of those points. I have posted a video on YouTube about how to find the ruling planets of any degree, minute, and second of the zodiac. There is a page on my website that has a chart that shows the 3 ruling planets of any point in the zodiac. So for this chart, we look at the ascendant. It's 9 degrees of Gemini, 7 minutes. And Gemini is ruled by Mercury, which is an air sign. So we're going to look in the air column here of the chart, and we're looking for 9 degrees 7 minutes. Well, we see that 9 degrees 7 minutes is after 8 degrees 40 minutes, and it's before the next one. So we know that the ascendant falls within this yellow box here. So the ruler of the large constellation is Mercury, as we mentioned, because it rules Gemini. The small constellation ruler is the dragon head, and so that goes here. And the little ruler is Jupiter, and so that goes here. So we're going to do the same thing with the moon position. The moon is at 13 degrees of Cancer, 49 minutes. Cancer is a water sign, so we go over here to the water column, And we see that 13 degrees 49 minutes is after 13:46:40 and before the next one. So the moon position falls within this dark blue box here. So we can put into this row that the large constellation ruler, since it's Cancer, the ruler is the moon itself. The small constellation ruler is Saturn, and so that goes here. And the little ruler is Pluto, and it goes here. The last thing we have to do is find the ruler of the weekday, and we can tell that from our charting program. It says it was Mercury. That means it must have been a Wednesday, and it was the afternoon. So Mercury goes in this box here. Now, these are the 5 ruling planets of the chart. Jupiter and Pluto are not ruling planets. They are little rulers, but I always include them because they give us lots of valuable information, as we will see. So the next step is to put the ruling planets in the order of their strength or importance. The strongest ruling planet of a moment is the small constellation ruler of the ascendant. So this is the dragon's head, and we put it right here. The second strongest ruling planet is the large constellation ruler of the ascendant, and that's Mercury, so that goes here. Now, Jupiter is not a ruling planet, so I've marked it as a little ruler, and I put it next. The third ruling planet is Saturn, and so Saturn goes here. The fourth ruling planet is the moon, and so that goes here. And I've also added the little ruler, Pluto, down here. The day ruler is Mercury, and we already have Mercury, so we don't need to put it in twice. So the next thing we do is look at the associations of each of these planets. Now, we know that, by the way, for purists, the sun and moon and the dragon head and tail are not actually planets, but as a shortcut, we call them planets when we're talking about astrology. The dragon head is actually a special direction in the sky. And one advantage of learning Eastern or Vedic astrology is that they do have a much deeper understanding of the meaning of the dragon head and the dragon tail. Otherwise, the meaning of the planets is identical between the Western and Eastern systems. So the dragon head is associated with theft, fraud and imitation, disease, anything that is unexpected, unusual or foreign, something that is unseen. The dragon head is one of the eclipse causers, so it causes things to become unseen unexpectedly. The dragon head also is associated with outer space and astrology, anything psychic, and, by the way, also liberation from rebirth. Okay. Mercury is associated with papers, instructions, writing, mail, newspapers, communications, and it's also associated with multiple things. The little ruler Jupiter is associated with legal work, with physicians, benefactors, religion, and higher education. Saturn is associated with servants, employees, the elderly, with something like a safe box, with chronic illnesses, and also with loss or with death. The moon is associated with food or anything that is ingestible, anything that is nourishing. It's associated with cooking and liquids. And Pluto is associated with hiding, secrecy, treachery, anything mystical, physicians, regeneration, and medicine. So, when I looked at these ruling planets, the first thing I thought of was, could she have put the money somewhere in any legal paperwork? She did check her legal papers and she didn't find the money. But one of the other things we noticed here is that there's a theme running through all these planets, and that is the theme of disease. Notice there's disease here with the dragon head. There's also Jupiter and Pluto rule physicians, and Pluto also rules medicine. The moon rules things that are ingested. So it is possible that the money might be found among some papers having to deal with disease or with medicines. There was also an elderly woman in the house who had several chronic illnesses, and they were worried that she might pass away soon. She didn't. But in fact, there was a safe box where she kept her medicines and prescriptions. And in fact, this is where the money was found. There was in the medicine box, which was kept for safekeeping. She did not normally keep money there, but what happened is when she had bought medicine and came home with the prescriptions, something had interrupted her, and she had put the money in the medicine box without thinking. Okay, the dragon's head is associated with things that happen without your thinking. All right, and the elderly woman did have several long-term diseases, and so this is where the money is found. So we see that the ruling planets showed us that it was in an unexpected place. It was in some place unseen. The medicine box was closed. It had to do with disease, with prescriptions, papers, instructions, and with multiple things. There were multiple medicines and multiple prescriptions in the box. They had been given by physicians who are in a benefactor position. They were for an elderly person who suffered from long chronic illnesses, more than one of them. It was for something ingestible. The medicines were in the box. And, of course, we have physicians and medicine again. So, Advanced Stellar Astrology finds the missing money. Thanks for sharing astrology. We like to share facts, tips, insights from East and West.